and let's get into it. Cool. So we are officially recording. Thank you guys for finding the Zoom link and for joining for this knowledge drop. I think it's the 54th ever knowledge drop. Our, guest of honor, Bianca, who I'll pass the mic over to in a minute. But a couple housekeeping things. First, I think it looks like most of y'all found the chat box. Make sure it's set to all panelists and attendees, so any witty comments you're making can be seen by everybody in here. And then other than that, just to note, at the bottom of the Zoom room, there's a question and answer box. So if you guys have questions that come up as Bianca's going through her slide deck, please fill that up. We should have at least 5 minutes at the end of the knowledge drop to kind of go through some of the questions you might have around her area of expertise, which is LinkedIn, how to get a little more traction and attention and connection using that platform, which I will admit I'm not the best at. Like I think I have, like Bianca pointed out the other day, that a lot of people, like most people have LinkedIn, but a lot of people just like don't even know how to use it. And I 100% fall in that category. So maybe some of you guys watching this fall in that category too. But she'll give us some really good insight into like how it is such a powerful tool and how to take advantage of it. So with all of that out of the way, I mentioned this is getting recorded, so this will live on in our YouTube Knowledge Drop archive. So you can pass this around, share it to people you think it might benefit after it gets up there on the YouTube channel. But with all that out the way, let me pass it over to you, Bianca. Thanks again for doing this.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Let's do it.
And if you could just confirm that you can see it, Travis, that would be great.
Yes. Perfectly executed.
All right. Awesome. Okay, guys, so I'll go ahead and jump right in. And as Travis said, if you have any questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat and I will answer as many as I can at the end. So this knowledge drop is all about how to build a LinkedIn profile that stands out. As Travis said, I come across so many people who have LinkedIn profiles, but I can tell they don't exactly know what to do with them. So I'm here to sort of shine some light on that. And this presentation will primarily be targeted at entrepreneurs and personal brands. But as I mentioned in the Slack channel, a lot of the same rules do apply across the board. So again, if you have any questions, just feel free to drop those in. So things we'll cover today are how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile to actually attract the types of clients, customers, partnerships, whatever it is you're looking for, how to create and engage with the right types of content on LinkedIn, and how to turn your followers into buyers. Because as a social media consultant, of course, a large part of what I do is helping people actually monetize their brand. Because we all want to increase those reach and impressions and followers, but at the end of the day, people are going to buy from people they know, like, and trust. So a little bit about me. I've been doing social media branding and marketing for a little over 5 years now. So I started back in 2014 as an intern, and a lot of my background is in tech and actually helping grow Fortune 100 and 500 companies such as Cisco and Spectrum and Progress Software, some other names, in the same area, really helping them increase their impact, income, and influence with social media, as I like to say. So I do have my own consultancy, and I do consult, train, and speaking. Like, it is what I do for a living, which is another thing that qualifies me. I'm not just like, oh, I have a LinkedIn profile and I kind of figured it out. This is literally what I do. It's what I love to do. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, why does LinkedIn even matter? Because another thing that I get is people who are saying, like, I don't think LinkedIn really matters for my business, or LinkedIn isn't the right platform for me. And I'm like, you're wrong. LinkedIn is absolutely the right platform for you. I always tell people that LinkedIn is basically your digital address book, and I'm going to share some numbers to show you why it matters. So as an entrepreneur, if you have a website, which I'm hoping you do, and you're looking to really build that website traffic, whenever you compare LinkedIn to a lot of other social platforms, and I'll probably speak most specifically to like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, because those are sort of like the big ones. If you're really looking to increase that website traffic, other than Pinterest, LinkedIn is your best chance. And it's sad because you see that Instagram is the absolute lowest, and so many people put so much effort into Instagram. And it's not that Instagram is not a great platform, but again, if you're really looking to increase that website traffic, you should definitely be more focused on LinkedIn. The same rules apply whenever it comes to your email subscribers. So if you are an entrepreneur, I really, really hope you are growing an email list, because your email followers, your email subscribers are way, way more important than your social media followers. Because at the end of the day, you don't own social media. And if Instagram or Facebook decides to just shut down, your followers are gone. So again, if you're looking to grow an email list, LinkedIn is a great, great place to be. So, looking at LinkedIn, if you compare it again to other social media channels, right now they're inching toward almost 600 million members. And that may seem like a lot, but when you compare it to the billions of people on like Facebook and Instagram, it's just by sheer numbers alone. The chances of you being able to stand out on LinkedIn versus the other platforms are much, much higher. So, if you're really serious about increasing that reach and impact, LinkedIn is a really, really great place to be. And the really cool thing is that while on average, like 3 million users are actively sharing content each week, that content is getting 9 billion impressions, which is a fancy marketing way to say, although only 3 million people are sharing, that content was seen 9 billion times. Now, those of you who are using Facebook and Instagram probably don't need me to tell you that you are not getting anywhere near that sort of reach on those channels. So again, just thinking about it from a perspective of if I'm an entrepreneur, and especially if I don't have a ton of resources right now, such as my own team or like maybe some help, but you want to kind of boost those results, I'd be looking into LinkedIn. And then the last thing is that people on LinkedIn have money. If we're just putting this in layman's terms. So 44% of people on LinkedIn make more than 75K a year, and 4 out of 5 people are decision makers. So imagine yourself trying to go on Facebook or Instagram or maybe even Twitter and be looking for the exact right person to reach out to and make sure that you are actually talking to someone who can pay you. Those chances are much, much higher on LinkedIn. So diving into the do's and the don'ts of LinkedIn. These are some of the things that I see very often. These are some things that I admittedly have done myself in the past, and you'll probably see some things on here that are you. Please don't go run away in shame. It is okay. We're all here to learn. But these are some very easy ways to get ignored or blocked on LinkedIn. The infamous gray profile picture. I am always surprised that I have to keep including this in my presentations, but you would be surprised at how many people do not have a profile picture. Like I literally went to a networking event several months ago in North Carolina, and I was looking this person up, and he was like a serial entrepreneur, had several businesses. First of all, it took forever to find him on LinkedIn, and then once I did, this is what I saw, and I was like, what the hell? What are you doing right now? Guys, this makes you look like you don't want to be found. It makes you look suspicious, and it just makes you look kind of weird, if I'm being honest. If you are a business owner, the idea, in my humble opinion, is to be able to provide your services to as many people as possible. So why would you not have your face? It's something very simple that you can do. And we'll talk a little bit more about what a great profile picture looks like a little bit later. The second thing, and everyone here has probably gotten one of these before, but whenever you connect with someone and then you immediately try to pitch them, please, please, please do not do this. To be honest, this rule applies across all platforms, but I feel like people get a little bit more pissed off about it on LinkedIn, just because LinkedIn is like the largest online professional network. So it's also a place where it's not as okay, I should say, to like reach out to somebody immediately, like maybe it is on Instagram or on Twitter. But anywho, these are some examples of things that came through my inbox recently. Hey, Bianca, we have unique data that unlocks B2B audience targeting on Facebook. Interested? Thanks, Rick. Okay, I don't know Rick from a can of paint. I just accepted his request because I accept pretty much anyone if they're like, if we have connections in common, if you're kind of in similar industries. And also, I'm not interested in unlocking B2B audience targeting on Facebook. That's another thing. He didn't at all try to like nurture our relationship or like, just reach out and thank me for connecting. He immediately tried to pitch me. And then there was another person who reached out and they just said, hey, Bianca, didn't even capitalize my name. So just immediately I was already like, no. Was looking over your profile and I think I have a business opportunity you'd be perfect for. Do you keep your options open? Grammar aside, we'll even ignoring the grammar. This again is a very, very easy way to get blocked on social media. LinkedIn and all of the social media profiles. Like what's always most important is building relationships and building know, like, and trust before you try to just push yourself on someone. And then the last thing, and we're gonna spend some more time here, but having a vague and non-descriptive headline. I see this killing people. And I know that it happens so often because when I'm creating these presentations, guys, I have a hard time finding good examples to share with you all. Like this is why I'm really trying to stress the importance of how you have such a great opportunity with LinkedIn, because so many people are doing it wrong. So like you have such a better chance of standing out here than you would on these other social media channels. Now, looking at these titles, nonprofit professional, entrepreneur, CEO. So what? Like no one cares about your job title. And I hate to break it to you as an entrepreneur, but no one cares that Donna is the CEO at Donna J Wellness, just like no one cares that I'm the CEO of Bianca Lynch LLC. When you're thinking about, when you're thinking about your headline, you want to make sure that you are immediately attracting your target audience and that you're immediately letting people know what it is you do. There are a lot of other things wrong with these, but for now we'll just talk about the headlines. But point being, LinkedIn has come a long way. I hope no one knows any of these people, by the way. LinkedIn has come a long way. And there was a point in time where everyone just had the job title. So maybe I had like social media manager at Cisco. But thank God, now LinkedIn has made it a lot easier for people to showcase more of their personality and still be professional. Side note, don't ever have a picture of yourself in a bra on LinkedIn ever. It does not matter if you do fitness. Do not do that. Okay, so let's talk about the good stuff. How to get seen and heard on LinkedIn. First thing is make a great first impression. So whenever someone lands on your profile, the first things they're going to see are your profile photo, of course, your banner photo, which is the image right behind it, and then your headline. So when you're thinking about a profile photo, I just need to see your face, nothing else. Maybe some shoulders, but like under that, no body shots, nothing like that. It needs to be only you, not you and your boyfriend. Not you and your new wife or your new husband, not you and your dog, not a cropped hand from your shoulder where it was a great picture of you, but apparently you had to crop out someone else. Not a picture of you holding alcohol. And again, I'm saying these things and they sound like common sense, but I see it very, very often. So I want you guys to just really, really understand the importance of knowing that whenever someone first looks at you, that is their first impression. So you want to make sure it looks as professional as possible. As far as the banner photo, you have options. I know some people like to put like their logo if you have kind of like especially if you have like a design background or like you have someone who could design something nice for you. You can have something branded that maybe calls out a call to action, or it is your logo, not in a super gaudy way. Mine is just a stock photo that just kind of like matches like the theme of like my website and my brand. I've seen people put like their city landscape or where they're from. Like you do have a lot of options here. And then, of course, the headline, which we're going to spend the most time on. So whenever it comes to creating a good headline, I always give people one or two options. The first thing is either the keyword style, and this is what I'm showing you here, and making a quick disclaimer that if you go to my LinkedIn profile now, it's different from what I'm going to show you today because I update mine regularly because I like to kind of test things out. But for the sake of this presentation, this is the headline style. And this way gives people like a really good look, a really easy look at what it is you do and what it is you want to be known for. So what's most important here is that you are really highlighting those keywords. So of course I have social media consultant, strategist, and speaker because again, that's what I want to be known for. Whenever people are looking up social media consultant, social media speaker, that's what I want to show up for. And then of course I have those more niche ones, right? Like those ones that are a little bit more specific. Corporate trainer, employee advocacy, thought leadership, like those are obviously more I don't know, I guess corporate maybe is the right word. Those words are a little bit more specific than just social media consultant. So make sure that you use all of these characters and that you are thinking about what you want to show up for. If you don't want to show up for graphic designer at IBM, then don't put graphic designer at IBM. Showcase some of those skills. Like, is it like Photoshop? Is it InDesign? Is it Canva? Whatever it is. Like, really get specific there if you can. So the other type of headline that I like to give people is the problem solving statement. And these are really, really cool because they, again, if you're thinking about from, a business perspective, if you are immediately calling out your target audience and you are immediately telling people what you can do for them, that's something that I'm going to notice right away if I'm in your target audience. So this person, for example, whose profile photo is not as high res as it should be, let me point that out. She has marketing agencies. I keep your pipeline juicy with ideal clients to free up your time to do what you do best. She's calling out exactly who her target audience is, and she's telling you how you can help. So if I'm a marketing agency, I'm intrigued, right? She didn't just say that she doesn't have, Carl Fortin, client acquisition specialist. Like, she's being very, very specific here. I did want to add one in here just in case there are some people listening who maybe like you work for a company or you're representing a company. Because again, the same rules apply. Like, this guy has a really nice headshot. In the background, he has his like the name of the place he works, and then his headline: consultant and managing partner at Scion Executive Search, recruiting for nonprofit executive leadership roles. Bam. Says what he is, has the keywords in there, says what his objective is. You don't land on that and be like, oh, what does he do? Unlike when you saw the other ones that were like entrepreneur and nonprofit professionals. The next thing is optimizing your profile for search. So there are a lot of things that you could be doing to do this, but for the sake of today, I'm going to mostly talk about the headline and the summary and skills. So the headline we already talked about, making sure you have those keywords in there. But with LinkedIn, you want to have those keywords everywhere. So for SEO reasons, search engine optimization, you want to make sure you're popping up in LinkedIn search results, which means that you want to be having these things all throughout your profile. So you see I have the keywords in my headline. And if you go over here to the summary, and I'm sorry if you can't read it, you don't need to read the whole thing, but in this section here, I have, my strengths include, and again, I'm listing those keywords. And then at the bottom, I have the hashtags, and you can even see some words kind of sprinkled out with them. So make sure that you're not only putting it in your headline, but also in your summary. Here's another example of a woman named Vivica, and like I love her intro in her summary. She says, "Is it a goal of yours to win more business for your B2B company?" And then she has like LinkedIn and social selling. Like, she has those keywords in here. She has content for sales enablement, personal branding, digital sales training. She has these specific things in here that she wants people to find her for. So just consider this as you guys are putting out your LinkedIn summary. Your LinkedIn summary is not supposed to be all about you. For the love of God, please do not have it in third person. And please, please, please highlight your credibility, highlight what it is you do, but make sure that you are highlighting what you have to offer to your target audience. Because at the end of the day, I don't really want to read a whole summary about you. I just don't care. And to be honest, no one else does. And if we do, then we can visit your website, or we can, go to the next step. But if someone is landing on your LinkedIn profile, give me the need to know information. And then skills, I just like to highlight because it's something really, really simple that you can do, something that you can get some quick ROI on. I'm very surprised at how many people still have skills that are either they just don't have the skill at all, or it's completely random. Like, I've literally had several clients who have had social media marketing listed under their skills, and I was like, you do social media? And then they're like, oh no. And I'm like, if you don't do it, then don't have it listed under your skills. And if you don't want to be known for it, don't have it listed under your skills. So for example, if you would have seen my profile like 5-6 years ago, my top skill was customer service. You can best believe I removed that very, very quickly, because I don't want people coming to me for customer service. I want people coming to me for social media marketing, strategy, and digital things. And then the last thing is making sure that you are consistently building your influence and your personal brand, which is kind of a nice way of saying be social. Do not take the social part out of social media. So, going back to what Travis was saying earlier, a lot of us have the LinkedIn profile, but we don't exactly use it. And using it implies posting, liking, commenting, sharing, like doing all of these things that shows the LinkedIn algorithm, hey, I'm an active person, so rank me higher in search results and put me and like show me in my audience's feeds. And the really cool thing about LinkedIn is it's so much easy to show up in someone's LinkedIn feed than it is someone's Facebook feed or someone's Instagram or Twitter feed. It's just not as crowded yet. That may change. So I would hop on this sooner than later. But anywho, here's an example post. I like to call these like thought leadership. type of post. So I'm not I'm not driving to my website. I'm not asking people to buy anything. I'm just literally sharing an insight as someone in my industry. And this post actually performed really, really well. If if that intimidates you, start by just sharing an article. Like, this was a Forbes article that I shared. By no means did I write it, but I just had a quick insight at the top. The number one thing for landing a big speaking gig is to build your personal brand on social media. And then I just say, if you're still not using social media to build your brand, what are you waiting for? So I'm like inviting people to talk to me. I'm starting a conversation. I want that engagement. And that's really what you want to focus on, whatever you're posting. If you are someone who is intimidated by that, literally start with just going to an article and hitting the LinkedIn share button and just do that. And then, you can, baby step it and start adding to it if you'd like, which I recommend. And then the last thing is making sure you're actually engaging. So liking things, commenting on things, and sharing things. So the example I have here, and don't really worry about reading it. I just want to make the point that the only reason I saw this post is because Amanda commented on it. So in my feed, Amanda Che, Kate Peters, and Tim Denning I got to see all of them, all because Amanda commented on this post. Guys, the more you like, the more you comment, the more you share, the more you will show up in other people's feeds. And it's worth it. And again, like I said, you don't have to work that hard to get results. So I highly, highly recommend doing this. It's the social part of social media, and it's what makes the biggest difference in your success across all social media platforms. So what do you do now? What I am challenging you to do is, within the next week, do at least one of these things. All of them would be great, but again, I'm all about the compound effect. Start small. So update your profile photo, update your banner photo, update your headline. Just get that first impression down, and then you can work on your summary and all the other things later. And if any of you guys want to get in contact with me, these are all the places where I live online. So feel free to reach out. Feel free to connect. Also, after this, I'm going to drop like a special thing for you guys in the Slack channel. So stay tuned for that. But let's open it up for questions.
Woo! That was awesome. Well done. Let's maybe jump out of screen share. We'll just go back to our two faces. And I think we already did get one question that came through. Perfect. Okay. So Cynthia asked, tips for side hustlers, meaning how do you balance growing your side business that you want to be your primary business eventually while you're still employed with another company working full time? So any advice for people that are trying to take the incremental steps to build out their side hustle?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, well, first of all, I would say it depends. So I rarely to never tell people to create 2 LinkedIn profiles because I think that's just absolutely insane. But if your industries are aligned somewhat, then I think that it does make it easier. So for example, I'm a freelancer for a startup company, but of course I also have my own business. But since mine is all about social media, I just have it listed on my profile. I have that, I'm like the president and, creative director for my consultancy. So just, you can still list it on there as long as it's okay with your company. But what I would do is try to start slowly building that brand. So, if you have your full-time job and then you also have your side hustle, you can start like slowly plugging little things in that's related to your side hustle if it's still relevant to your audience. Now, unfortunately, if it's like you're in marketing, but you want to go into whale diving, then unfortunately, I hate to say it, but you should probably either wait until you are full time or until you're comfortable just starting to completely shift, or you probably should create a different profile, because otherwise it's going to be very weird if Monday through Friday you're constantly talking about business and then all of a sudden you're talking about the ocean.
True. And Cynthia asked to follow up while you were answering that question of hers. She said you have both listed in your profile. I think meaning both your full-time and your that you're building. Yeah. Okay.
I do.
I think Kiadi asked a quick one. He said he's a graphic designer, so he has like a minimal graphic self-portrait. Is that a bad idea? Should it just be an actual photo? Or since he's an illustrator, he kind of wanted to show that in his profile picture?
That's actually a really good point. And if I would have had longer, I would have said that like the profile picture rule applies 99% of the time. If you're in a super creative field and that's the kind of thing you want to attract, I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, again, I always would say your face is the safest, depending on what it is you want to do. I mean, if you want to be like a big influencer or you want to do like speaking, you want people to be able to know your face immediately. But, you know, if you're more so just like laid back, like you want to have a good presence, but you're not looking to, you know, be, you know, out there all the time, I think that's perfectly fine.
Cool. Carly came through with a question too. She says, do you have any resources for headline ideas / inspirations? Do you have any places that people can go online to kind of find some of that, like some, or just to scroll through LinkedIn, I guess maybe?
Um, I would probably say LinkedIn is your best bet. Also, some of the ones that I listed in here. If you watch, because you guys probably couldn't like catch them all down, but look, if you like follow up with the recording, but obviously, you know, like my profile is a great example. Also, look at really big like influencers, like whatever industry you're in. Look at the people who do it best, and sort of like model their LinkedIn profile if you can.
That's a great idea. Blair has a great question here. He's saying he works kind of in a more niche field. So he's like an ed tech consultant for K-12 schools. Basically, his question is, do you have any tips for connecting with folks when you're in a smaller sub-industry? So trying to find people that are like in a really specialized sort of field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, LinkedIn groups. I mean, I feel like everything, like any sort of like specialization thing, like there's someone else out there. So really, really dig into the LinkedIn search tool. If you have premium, you have more options, but you can still like search for like certain job titles, search for certain like roles on LinkedIn, really use those keywords. And then the people who are popping up in the search results, connect with them.
Tanya's got a really practical question too. She says she has a page with 2 company pages associated with it. And when she's liking or commenting on LinkedIn, it only allows a response from her profile rather than her business profile. Is there a way to respond as a business rather than personal?
You can only respond to a business page if you're logged in as a business page, if that makes sense. Like you can't, like right now I couldn't go to linkedin.com and like respond to something that my company posted. Like I would have to literally go to LinkedIn, hit the little arrow under my name and then hit company, and then whatever like whenever the notifications show up and it's like blah 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 commented on your post, whenever you reply, it should reply as the business. But you have to actually go to like work and make sure you're under the company page.
Awesome. And Teresa had a question too. She said she was late, so sorry if she missed this, but basically, how do you get emails from followers on LinkedIn? Like, how do you convert that into an email subscriber list?
I would say by either having a call to action in your summary. Well, actually, you should definitely have a call to action in your summary regardless. And then also by the content you post. Like if you share like articles on LinkedIn, you can always drive it back to your website. I would definitely not recommend just like posting and trying to get people to sign up for your email list from there. But it all ties into how you set up your profile and then how you're like whatever content you're posting. Like share content that leads back, that invites people to your email list.
Awesome. And I'm just watching the time, so we'll shut it down with this last question. But Katie says, as a consultant, what do you do to proactively get yourself out there and find relevant and desirable opportunities? So you talked a little bit about that, but maybe just to recap some of your top things to make those connections and to put yourself out there, basically.
To be honest with you, most of my connection requests, they come to me, and it's because my profile is extremely optimized and it's because I'm active on LinkedIn. If you start sharing relevant content and if you start using the right hashtags, people will start connecting with you. And the more relevant people connect with you, the more you're going to pop up in their feed. I mean, if you want to be proactive about it, then I would just go back to the LinkedIn search. You know, again, put in those keywords, put in those job titles and see who's popping up first, because those are the people who are active, those are the people who are more serious and the people who are more likely to respond, and nurture the relationship. Do not start pitching. Do not just, you know, send like a blank thing, say, hey, I saw we're in the same industry, looking forward to your post, I love to connect, and then nurture the relationship by engaging with them before you reach out and try to pitch.
Awesome. Thanks for all the great questions, everybody out there. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bianca. You're amazing. This was a really great knowledge drop, and you're a great speaker. I appreciate you wanting to do this for the nation. And yeah, thank you guys for all joining out there.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Ciao, everybody.